Jack, I haven't told you, I'm hosting a holiday party for the first time ever in my apartment, and there isn't enough sitting room here.
You don't have enough chairs.
That's why I'm going to Wayfair to find that extra seating for my holiday party.
Wayfair has everything you need. It is a one-stop shop. You can get bedding and linen and all the decor that you're going to need, Amy, to make your place look great for this dinner that I now get to find out about.
There's something for every style and every home and every season, no matter your space or your budget.
Wayfair's huge selection makes it so easy to find the perfect gift for everyone on your list.
And they have fast and easy delivery, even on the big stuff.
Get last-minute hosting essentials and gifts for all of your loved ones and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less.
Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com.
Wayfair, every style, every home. I am traveling to visit my mom in Kentucky for Christmas, and then I'm going to Montana with you, Amy. My routine is completely thrown off, but there's one thing that I am maintaining, and that's Ritual.
Ritual is an obsessively researched multivitamin. Their essential multis have the nutrients most of us don't get enough from our food, especially me, all in their clean and absorbable forms. There's no shady additives or ingredients that do more harm than good.
I'm currently taking their essentials for women 18 plus, which contains 9 key nutrients in 2 delayed release capsules designed for optimal absorption per day.
We take their Symbiotic Plus Gut Health every evening before bed, and that minty freshness actually is like a little treat before I go to sleep.
Get to go to bed fresh. Ritual's essential third-party tested for heavy metals and clean label project certified.
Their products are HSA, FSA eligible with a seamless checkout experience, so you can even save when you shop with your pre-tax dollars.
Instead of striving for perfect health, aim for supportive foundational health.
Our listeners get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/booktalk.
That's ritual.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, for 25% off your first month.
When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite, obey your thirst.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy, a literary podcast where we deep dive into the writings of your favorite novels. This is Jack.
And I'm Amy, and we're taking a break from our Air of Fire analysis this week to discuss our reactions to Callie Hart's Brimstone, as well as discuss listener thoughts.
The views expressed by the hosts are entirely their own and in no way represent the thoughts or intentions of the original author. This podcast is a discussion shared to spark thought and conversation on the characters and themes of this novel. The interpretations presented in this podcast are just a few of many possibilities. Listeners are encouraged to read along and share their own analysis of the text.
Though the hosts speak mostly within the constraints of this book, series spoilers may be discussed with or without warning. Explicit language, as well as themes of sex, violence, abuse, depression, self-harm, and death will recur throughout this podcast. Listener discretion is advised. If you're enjoying the podcast, check out our Patreon for more exclusive content. You can find us at patreon.com/booktalkforbooktalk.
Here we are, ready to talk about Brimstone, doing a Patreon live.
Yes, doing a Patreon live. We have so many patrons.
So many patrons that you guys really want to join because that's where all the cool kids are.
And this is open to our free patrons as well.
Oh, shit. That really is where the cool kids are.
Yeah, it's open to everybody today.
Is that what you meant from one of your text messages last night?
Yes.
Your communication was off a little bit.
You know what? I was distracted. I've been distracted.
Not giving context, Amy said something was like, I remember this thing and I was like, what is
What?
in relation to it? You're like, oh, based off the conversation that we were briefly talking about yesterday. This is the continuation of that.
I did pull a
A Maria.
Maria.
That's my mama. That's my mama right there. That's my Amy. All right. You know what time it is? It's not book club. However,
We're still gonna do it.
special edition. Hands up, tits up.
You go first.
No. Irritates me so much. Why are we friends? It had a lot. Damn it, that was 2 words.
Uh-huh.
To live up to. Did it?
Question mark.
All right, you're right. Did it?
No, I think you said it right. I was just clarifying.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I've got to do 10 now.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a while to remember why it's not enough letters. It's not enough words. Wait. Let me
Essay she's giving us here.
let me start over. I need to get this right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. You have to follow the rules.
It fell into the second book slump.
Yep.
Oh well.
Yep. It's second booked real hard.
Yes. And you and I did speak about that. So this is one of those rare times where we talked a little bit about the book before we actually record.
Yeah.
Which doesn't happen often.
Look, full transparency. We want to talk to Callie. 1, we don't like bashing any book. 2, this is a book that I personally feel like I need explained by the author.
Why? Okay. What about it needs to be explained?
It felt like, leading up to this book, there are a number of secret chapters from Kingfisher's point of view, from special editions, from all these other ones that, like, there was like the whole Adjun Gate thing. Like, that was in one of Kingfisher's special chapters. And Callie said, like, you don't really need to read that in order to go into this. And I kind of want to be like, you sure? You sure? Because I did not read it going into this. And boy, golly, did I feel confused.
Interesting. I didn't feel confused. And I remember the Adjun Gate, like the bare bones of the Adjun Gate story from Quicksilver.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't necessarily feel confused by it. I felt like the rot was a big motivator that didn't deliver.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The hiding from the gods was a big deal that didn't matter.
Yeah.
And, I think it was a beautifully written book. I have, we didn't read it. We listened to it. So we are immune to some of the grammatical errors that might be in the printed edition. That's hearsay until I see otherwise, because I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there were bits and pieces of what makes Callie a good writer evident here. Like the humor that Carrion brings is still great. There's still emotion that she brings.
Descriptions were great.
Descriptions were very beautiful. What I struggled with is nothing carried the weight I wanted it to carry or thought it deserved to carry.
Mm-hmm.
And quite honestly, Kingfisher and Saeris' obsession with each other just drove me nuts.
It's been some kind of topics of conversation I've seen occasional TikToks on, not just with Brimstone, but with the genre of romantasy in general, where it's just like, okay, calm down for a second. How many times can an orgasm be the best life-shattering orgasm of your entire life? Like, what happens after 1,000 years together?
Yeah.
Is there anything left? You know what I mean? Like, it is. I mean, and then how many body parts are available anymore for tattoos?
Yeah, that's freaking true.
Or orgasm tattoos. I mean, and I know at one point it was said like, "Oh, does this happen? Will you get tattoos every time?" And it's like, "No, only when it's intense." And I'm like, "Really?" Because
Every
feels like it's
time.
happening every single time that we've seen them have
Yeah.
sex.
Yeah. And it's been what, a week?
It's been
1 week.
week since you looked at me. Yeah, their obsession with each other took up a lot of space in the timeline, on the page, on everything, and whether it did or it didn't, it took up a lot of space in my mind, if that makes sense.
Yes, I think it took up a lot of space in my mind because it was redundant.
Mhm.
Where if I look back at Quicksilver, the progression of the sex scenes and the purpose that they served in the plot
Yeah.
not only increased in spice, but increased in importance, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And what it was achieving. Whereas I felt like this time it was all gratuitous.
I think it's gonna require another reread. I'm going to say something from what when we went to go see Callie, and I kinda wanna save this for a little bit towards the end, but I think there's no way to have this conversation without it. When Amy and I went to the Audible Podium audiobook release event, and we got to see Callie and Anthony, who plays Kingfisher, and
Stella.
Stella, who plays Saeris, and I didn't even realize there was a timeline situation going on, and then Callie said, "Yeah, like, there's timelines, and there's different timelines." I had to go online and be like, "What the fuck did I miss?" And apparently there's, like, points where Carrion was in a camp when he should have been in the other world, and so I wonder if these sex scenes are on different timelines
Mhm.
and if their passion plays different points in these different timelines. However, I don't know that because every single one was so intense.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, it wasn't surprising to me that timelines would come into play just because of the nature of the gods that we're dealing with.
Yeah, yeah,
But I did not realize as I was going through Brimstone that there were active hints about it.
yeah.
So that's interesting. I would want to go back and read it physically
Mhm.
to see if it comes across different. The crazy thing is that Anthony and Stella are amazing voice
Yeah.
actors. They do such a good job. I'm listening to a different book right now and I'm like, wow, I really wish Anthony and Stella were narrating this because they're so good.
I know.
So they really immerse me in the emotion of the book and the action of the book. And I think they do a fabulous job.
I'm not paying attention to the details. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I'm not paying attention to the details the way I would if I was reading. So there's that. Nevertheless, on a first read,
Mhm.
unlike with Quicksilver, because with Quicksilver, my first read was what we did the book club on. And I picked up so much from the audiobook version of that.
Yeah.
Themes, how sex was furthering the plot, and all these things. Whereas with this one, I'm like, are there themes?
So the first time I read Quicksilver, I struggled with it.
Mm,
And I don't mean struggled with it like it was hard to read. I think I read it and I was like, what did I just read? If that
yeah,
makes sense. I
yeah,
needed to process it. When I read it the second time for when we did book club, I loved it. And then talking to you, loved it a lot more.
yeah,
And I really need to go in with Brimstone and see if I have like the same feelings of it because Brimstone had some of the same pacing
yeah,
discussions we had from the first book. And
yeah,
in the first book, it didn't phase me. In the second book, I'm a little bit more like, I don't know how I feel
yeah,
about it. But again, like, I mean, coming from someone who the first time that I read Quicksilver, I kind of had to sit there and be like, I don't know what I just read. Like
yeah,
I'm not entirely sure. And then reread it and then talked about it. And I have enough hope in Callie's talent to say that in the second reread, I'll see more. But in the first impression, in taking it in, and I feel like there's a lot more overall plot clues in this book
Yes.
because the first book, and this is just general second book slump. This is not directed towards her. First books in series are usually, you're introducing the world, you're introducing the characters, you're introducing the initial, not even like the actual danger, it's all just kind of more like top level.
Yeah.
And then you'll meet the real danger kind of by the end. And then in the second book, you're kind of having to, you're not introducing anyone new to us, but now you're introducing this plot, this like deeper, sinister thing that's happening, and you're bringing in clues, and it just becomes a different book in
Yeah.
general.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a second book difficulty that any second book has to enter.
Right. And there are the rare few that don't do that, but they achieve something completely different. Think
Yeah.
Mist and Fury, think Abigail Owen.
Spark of the Everflame.
Yeah. What's the second one? Glow of the
Glow.
Everflame.
Mm-hmm.
Because Glow was technically her first book, but
Well, but isn't that the thing, though, is that all the books you listed, the second book is where it starts.
yeah, it's true. Same with
Mhm.
The Things Gods Break by Abigail
Yep.
Owen. It's the books that successfully change your perspective on the happenings of the first book, like challenge your thinking, challenge what you know.
Or tells a whole new story, really. Like,
Yeah,
even if it doesn't challenge, because I don't think Glow challenged the way that I thought about the first book, but it was like truly
a whole new.
a whole new thing. Like, the first book was the inciting incident. So by the time
Mhm.
we get into the second book, I'm like ready to dig my teeth into it. It
Yeah,
treated it like a new story. And every second book that we've kind of talked about, like Mist and Fury, that's a whole new love story, right?
yeah, yeah,
Abigail Owen, that's a whole new story because we're getting
yeah,
things from a different perspective. So
yeah.
it really, even if it doesn't like make you go back and be like, the first book is nothing like I thought of. The difficulty is when you're introducing a whole new story versus this is kind of a progression of the first story. But again, we're coming into that slump of like, well, I've met the characters and now you're introducing to me some of this other stuff. Like, I'm trying to think, like, what happened? You know what I mean? I've also listened to many things since then. So,
Oh, and I haven't. So one of the things we learn that is obviously setting up for book 3 is about Madra and the Silver
mhm,
City,
mhm.
and why there's no magic in the Silver City, and why ultimately at the end of the day, Madra's gonna be the big bad.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of setup for that. There's Saeris discovering some of her power,
Mhm.
and I appreciate that she's not, like, at her fullest power.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
still seems overly strong, but at least she's not, like, already, like, in one book, gone from nothing to the most powerful being of all time.
Yeah, she still's got more Sailor Moon evolutions to go through.
Yes. Yes, she does. Where I think we're used to book 1 being set up, which this book 1 was, I think book 1 focused, like, my feeling, this is not accurate, this is not me analyzing it. My feeling is book 1 was so much about the relationship that book 2 ended up being the setup.
Yes. Yeah. No, I agree.
There was a lot of setup for book 2, but book 2 is just more setup.
Yeah. Book 2 had a lot of setup. Okay, let's take this one step at a time. Let's talk
Yeah.
about Saris's growth and progression because I think that is a question I had. So she wakes up and she's queen. And
Of vampires.
I I mean,
I have a
maybe
feel
it's because I personally would handle being a vampire queen differently, you know?
Well, so here is already one of my big problems.
Mhm.
We ended the book Quicksilver. Throughout all of Quicksilver, Kingfisher kept taking choices away from Saeris, and Saeris kept getting mad about it, that she didn't
Yep.
have a say
Yep.
in things that related to her. So as she's dying and he decides, you know what, make her a vampire, I was convinced she was going to be pissed about it. Like, even though she might be glad she's alive, at the same time, it's like, you made another decision about me that didn't have my consent. I remember us being like, whoa, how are they going to handle this?
Yeah.
It was never an issue.
There was one line at the end of Quicksilver where it was her kind of accepting it, and I was thinking, is that one line going to be the thing that carries us into us not having, like, an issue into the next book? And it was. And that's not I don't necessarily need a push and pull. I am okay that they're together and they're together. I respect that. I think that was a great choice. I even love the parts where Saeris, says, like, I know I wasn't supposed to show you this, but I'm showing you this because,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is like, you're my partner. You can still have all that and this added layer of, hey, when will you let me make my choice?
Yeah.
Like, when do my choices get to begin? Because you did this without my consent.
Or even if it's just one conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like, because of your choices, I am now a vampire and I am now queen of the vampires. And while
Mhm.
I'm really glad to be alive and to be with you, I really don't like the rest of this shit.
No. Just express. Yeah, you can feel two things at once. She
Yeah.
can feel grateful to be there with him. She can feel all these things, but also just kind of sit there and say, I hate this. This is so shitty.
Yeah. And I felt that lack of conversation from the get go really had me struggling with Saris's character and wondering if she was really developing,
Mm,
because it did feel like not, it was like a 50-50 thing for me. Part of it was earned and part of Saris's progression was not earned for me.
I agree. I feel like I was surprised with how much they entered being in a relationship as if they've been in a relationship for a year or more.
Hmm.
They entered the relationship as if they've established communication, as if they've
Hmm.
established all these other things. Like, she didn't accept their connection until, like, the bitter end, you know what I mean? And for how much of this worry of, do I accept him? What do we do? Do I love him? And then it goes straight into
Obsession.
they are a solid unit. I think it just, again, I'm not asking for them to kind of like back off and not be interested, but where's that learning period? Where's that period where they get to be a new couple and learn about what it means to be a couple with each other
Yeah. Yeah.
and not have to worry about death and timelines? You know what I mean? Like, Kingfisher went all of the first book thinking, this is my mate, or this is, like, the love of my life, and she's going to die. She's a
Hmm.
human. She will not live. And then Saris is going through this whole thing thinking, wait a minute, like, I'm now tied to this man. Like, you've known about me your whole life, but I didn't know about you. Like, what's going on? Those are such interesting things that, like, what happens when we go into book 2 and Kingfisher now has the one thing that he didn't think he'd ever have, and that's
Hmm.
Saris being able to live as long as he did, right? And
Yep.
then Saris having to accept, oh, well, maybe I'm now willing to open myself up to it because this whole, life issue thing isn't as big of a deal. Like, there's just things that I feel like naturally would have come up.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And this is exactly what is problematic about fated mates,
Yeah.
because I can already hear in my mind other people explaining away the jump. Well, they're fated mates, it's God bindings, so there's just more to it now and more to their relationship that we don't understand that is inherent to the prophecy or whatever.
Yeah.
Isn't that what we hate about fated mates? Is that not what we find problematic about fated mates? Like, is there agency?
Yeah. Problematic, agency, lazy writing, like all those things, all of which we loved in the first book. We loved that they
Yeah.
were destined And yet there was so much conflict in that destiny
Yeah.
because not only is Saeris' destiny tied to Kingfisher, but he continues to take away her choice. Oh my
Mhm.
God, I love that conflict. I ate it up. So then for all of it to be immediately resolved and then for them to have such a solid relationship was very strange for me, where it's like, I'm not asking for you guys to break up and get back together. I'm not even
Oh,
asking for miscommunication. But where's this tentative newness, this
yeah.
kind of, you get to hold his hand freely. You get to not have to hold your feelings inside.
Yeah. Yeah, and uncovering that, like, when has Saris ever been able to be honest with anybody ever in her lifetime?
No.
Like, 100% honest? Obviously not. It came to a head with her brother, but where was that, like, clawing her way out of her lifetime of
Mhm.
survival to learn to be vulnerable?
Yeah. Yeah, where did the vulnerability come in? Like, is
Or
it because she almost died and, that's the vulnerability? But one conversation, I think, of,
yeah.
her just telling him, "I'm learning to be safe with you. I'm learning how to," and maybe there's something I can't remember. I don't think maybe there was a conversation similar to that, but it just went so into, we're solid. And because of that, I found it difficult to find her character development because in the first book, her character development was so hand in hand with her romantic relationship because it showed her trust issues, it showed her trauma issues. I'm not saying that character development means love. However, it was a good use of having a relationship show her progression.
Right.
Because there was no progression in their relationship this round, I can't identify where her character growth is.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to blips like her brother, it was like, I enjoyed the conversation that she had with her brother. Well, she had 2 good conversations with him. But again, that's like for such a large book, those 2 conversations aren't enough for me to be like, this is her character growth.
Right. Right. Yeah, if we think about her character, the only place I really felt like Callie was trying to demonstrate growth was Saris's learning to accept and take ownership of her role in the blood court, which
Mhm,
then
mhm.
conveniently doesn't exist anymore.
Well, we just dropped that so fast.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that either.
Let's look at comments. Do you wanna look at comments real fast? See if there's any before we get into the blood court? Because I feel like
Sure.
blood court deserves a conversation.
Yeah. Ashlyn says, "Well, I think you guys rock, distracted or not." Thank you, Ashlyn. Fiction Fan says, "I heard there was one special chapter only in a UK edition, and that I agree that it got a lot of page time that it didn't seem to need to drive the story." I think talking about the love,
Mhm,
the obsession.
mhm.
For anybody joining new, feel free to chat us. We welcome your chats.
Alright.
Fiction Fan confirmed the spice and obsession.
Yeah.
Take a sip, everybody.
Yeah, let's add our electrolytes. Thank you, Liquid IV. Although, funny enough, today's the one time I ran out of my Liquid IV, so I'm, like, in my emergency other electrolytes, but I prefer liquid. Anyway, let's talk blood court.
So, I have so many feelings. Before I get there, Brianna says, "I agree that they needed to bask in their relationship before that solid relationship feeling. The
Mhm.
solid relationship feeling that they had in this would have been better suited for book 3.
I agree.
There needed to be a bridge of some sort. Even if it was the first half of Brimstone and they got the solid feeling later on.
It just this, like, idea of, like, "Oh my god, is this real? Do I actually get to have you?"
Yeah.
Again, Kingfisher thought, 1, like, he'd never meet his woman and then, like, his mate or if whatever we wanna call it, and then meets her and then she's human and that huge disappointment, like, that's traumatic within its own right, and then
Yeah.
it's just like, there should have been more awe
Yeah.
and hesitancy.
Yes. So, going back to the Blood Court,
Mhm.
what I liked about the Blood Court was the journey we see with Taladeus,
Yeah.
and that we get to deal with the question of his morality and the role that he played and his desire to be good. Like, I did like that journey for him because I think it was necessary for me to be on
Yes.
board with him staying alive. I liked the complexity that the blood court presented, which is why it feels cheap for it to have just suddenly be everyone's either dead or fey again.
I would have loved the blood court to have been examined more, have it be throughout the whole book, like for it to begin and be interesting and for it to end suddenly. I was genuinely surprised because Saeris was not involved in the blood court often.
Mhm.
We got to see her as a queenly person twice. That's her coronation, and then that's during the final night.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Those are the only times that we're going to see her as a queen, and how are they not rallying the troops to fight the other evil stepdad guy? Do you know what I mean? Like, she's a queen. That's an army. Why is it that this kingdom before was such a threat that it was they're on the other side, they're trying to invade. Okay, cool, the invasion's gone. How about the fact that you have like all these new zombies coming after you? Okay, well, you have an army. Like, why did we not approach this as you have an army to battle the stepdad? The king
Right.
stepdad guy, like, that wasn't even remotely thought of. I thought that when we were entering this and she was going to be queen, again, maybe I would rule differently as a vampire queen. That could just be me. And my first move as a vampire queen is to build an army. And I am just surprised that there was so much political power that they now had because they really set up the last book to be like, you have evil person from the other world, and then you have like the evil guy and you have the vampire guy. Like, these
Right.
are the three that are in charge.
The trifecta, who are literally siblings.
Yeah. Okay. So then you just got rid of one.
Right.
So then in my mind, I'm like, great. You now, again, you have a fucking army. Why are we not leaning into the political power of this nation? This nation was a threat and now they're not. Like, I genuinely do not understand the thought process, the lack of motivation, the explanation. Like, how do they go from being a genuine threat to now it just makes up a handful of the five, night people or whatever that they have, and or the high blood, whatever they're called. And like, those are the only ones that matter. And this entire kingdom doesn't matter now.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it's because of the feeders, right? The feeders are mindless. They're a mindless horde of vampires made by other vampires, not by Malcolm. And I completely agree with you.
Mm,
And this is where I think there was an opportunity for Brimstone to play out the way the glow of the Everflame played out,
yep.
where whether they like it or not, this court is going to be won over by their new ruler.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to bow. They're going to bend the knee. And that could have been the journey of this book.
Yeah.
Instead, it was just like, nope, clean slate. Like, why did Kingfisher have to struggle with this idea of like, oh, one of my fallen soldiers who was a friend, who I abandoned because I thought he was dead, is a vampire who has been abandoned for 200 years, has taught the entire blood court our ways, and that's why they're winning. I don't know if he's actually dead, but I'm going to assume he's dead. Like, why go through that entire thing? Yeah, you explain why the blood court was a menace, but wouldn't that be an asset moving forward?
It's an asset. It's a war. You were talking. Okay, there are these. The feeders are mindless zombie feeding things that still were able to be controlled.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the high bloods.
Yes. And I'm not saying, like, yes, Kingfisher and Saeris are probably better people than I. And they're like, hey, we should let the feeders just die because of whatever. But okay, you still have actual vampires more than the blood court. There are more vampires out there than the blood court. We've already established because we went to the tavern and we saw that there were regular Joe Schmo vampires. They're assets. You get rid of all the feeders. You have these vampires. They're assets. You are in control of them. Suddenly we're going to have morals and not, rule them. Like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, Tal was a great one. I thought it was leading off to be like, okay, you're going to be the king now, which I'm
Mhm.
actually okay that wasn't his journey. I'm okay that,
Yeah.
he just keeps trying to kill himself and doesn't succeed in that.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a great thing for him.
Yeah.
But for all of it to suddenly have the magical power to get rid of vampires out of nowhere,
Yeah.
out of left field.
Yeah. I could see that outcome being shocking and good had we
Mhm.
had more time with the blood court and seeing that it was such a problem that the asset was now a liability.
Not worth it. Yeah.
Yes. But we never got to the point where we knew for certain if it could be an asset or a liability.
There was nothing about the blood court that made them any worse than the rest of the Fae.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, what? They fed off of people? All right, vampires. All right. Like, feeding off of people isn't enough for me. Like, to be like, oh, they're so evil. It's just like, you need to really set them apart, especially when you have Stepdaddy King who's letting people die, who is letting these wars. Oh my God. Sorry. Wasn't that the other thing at the first half of the book where there are in the Quicksilver, there wasn't enough silver because we find out that he was giving the silver to Vampire King.
Is that right? I can't remember.
They were trading.
I remember the lack of silver.
There was a lack of silver, but part of it was like, because he kept saying like, oh, we don't have resources, but then they
Yep.
find out that it was going to the Vampire Nation.
I vaguely remember this. Was it going to the Vampire Nation or was it going to the Silver City? Madra.
Maybe it's going to the Silver City. But okay, so let's pretend it's not going to the Vampire Nation. Let's pretend it is going to the Silver City. That's another king that I feel like is just as evil. Like there's nothing about him that, like, again, the vampires haven't done anything to show that they like that we're like, oh, this isn't worth the asset. Just
Yeah.
have a moment of saying this is not worth the asset and then move on. Yeah, the blood court one was not played out enough, and we just didn't get to be a part of it. She was busy being the library.
Yeah, I didn't mind the library. I didn't mind how that stuff played out. I'm going to compare it to Akatar for a second. In Mist and Fury, we only see the Nightmare Court once. But you know what? We go back to the Nightmare Court. We go back, keeps coming back. It keeps being a threat.
Yeah.
And
It keeps being a political asset.
it also keeps being a political asset. And it doesn't have to have a big role for it to still be both an asset and an annoyance. And I
Yeah.
like that there's always opportunity to go back to it, especially in, unwritten SJM books or drafted SJM books that we have
Yeah.
not seen yet.
It's just so, yeah, the blood court was not discussed enough
Yeah.
to say, hey, we now have an entire fucking nation. What if all of Kingfisher's people, why couldn't they have gone to this land? Like once the vampire, like she's still a queen. How big is this? Wait, hold on. I have my map. I need to know how big is the. Oh, you have the map. Okay. Show us, Amy. Where's the vampire land?
Okay. Treath is right here.
Is that vampire land?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the river. Up here's the
Yeah.
Winter Palace.
Okay. And then where does Kingfisher live?
Kalish? No,
Yeah.
that's not Kalish is not far from the Winter Palace right here.
What it really seems like is a good place for people to run and hide if he's trying to evacuate everyone from his land.
Well, where did they end up? They ended up
And one of his other.
Oh, Ishtar.
Yeah.
Over here.
It's just like it was never talked about like an asset.
Yeah.
Of saying, hey, do we take them back to over here? We have a whole ass kingdom. We got a kingdom.
Yeah.
And if Saeris is the ruler of these vampires, why can't she order the feeders to just go kill themselves? Like set up a bonfire and just be like, everyone, single file, march on into that water, go walk into this bonfire. They're mindless feeders. The body should be released. Why isn't that a concern? So where I was saying is that I feel like there should have been a conversation of them saying, hey, do we use the feeders to fight off the blight? Hey, Saeris, you can control the feeders. Do we use the feeders to fight Belkon? Bell stepdaddy.
Yep.
You know,
Bellkon.
Belkon. Okay. Do we use them to fight him? The answer that they are going to say is no, because they're morally better than I. I'm like, well, they're dead. Let's just use their bodies. But
Right. Noble sacrifice.
no, right? I'd be like, this is what they'd want. But there wasn't that suggestion. Okay, well, then we have all these mindless feeders. Why are we not going to just get rid of them then?
Yeah, or at least use them to fight off the infected feeders. If you
Again,
can't.
I think you and I are too smart and pragmatists for this. I think they're too good for that. I truly believe that these characters would be like too moral and be like, we can't do that to these bodies. We're ravaging, dead people and they deserve peace. And you and I'd be like,
Yeah.
They're dead already. Okay, let's
I believe in an afterlife and they are there with their animals, with their familiars.
Have myself as an organ donor, and if my body was resurrected one way or another, my soul somewhere else, go use it. Use it how you need it, except for any creepy sex stuff. I do not consent.
I'm going to say something you are going to strongly dislike. So I work for a university that it was discovered recently. And this is, not unusual that the health system at the university sells cadavers.
Oh, yeah.
For scientific reasons, for study.
Yeah.
And they sold cadavers to the U.S. Army.
Yeah.
Who then turned it around.
And sold it off.
Sold the cadavers off to IDF to test bombs.
Yeah.
Or something crazy. So
I didn't say I'm donating my body to science. I'm saying however, if we are in this other world, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. However, if I am a vampire queen trying to
fight a war,
knowing that the gods just told me that I'm about to fight this blight that has now come into this world and I'm trying to save people, I think it's worth the conversation.
Yeah. Look, I don't disagree with you. The fact that her only order was the horde will stop hoarding.
Yeah.
And you guys won't hurt my friends. You have so much power, babe. Do something with it.
So much more power. She was attacked and almost killed in her own palace. Why are we not using people more? You know what I mean? Just be a queen. Go be a queen. Go, they're never going to accept you or respect you. We've already established that. So how can you use them accordingly to your benefit? Get them on your side if you really need to. But the whole blood court was a bit of a letdown for me.
Yeah.
And that was disappointing. And it didn't do enough to show her character progression because she didn't even go from meek, I don't know what to do. It was just more of hesitant. I'm just taking this all in to bow down for me, bitch. I'm going to use you as my footstool, which I loved. I thought that was great. I also think that is what Saeris would do. There's nothing new for me with that. There's no progression.
It did not demonstrate growth.
No. And it could have been evil growth. It could have been regression. It didn't show growth. It didn't show regression. It just showed that's what I would expect from her.
Yeah.
To do that.
That's true. Okay. So
should we talk Kingfisher?
Yeah, let's talk Kingfisher.
Or his name is Carrion?
Carrion.
Apparently, people online are talking about him as Carrion, and I'm like, no. I actually, Go ahead.
Sorry, my earrings are poking into me, and I need to take them off.
Yeah.
Okay, all yours.
I resented entirely that Sarah started calling him Carrion. Immediately. I hate it. I don't like it. We should just accepted that that's his little special name and moved on and gone back to Kingfisher.
Yeah, I think that was always going to be a trap.
Yeah.
The second you introduce true names and you uncover what Kingfisher's true name is,
Mm-hmm.
people were going to hate Saeris for not using his real name. And then other people are going to hate Saeris for using his real name and not sticking with Kingfisher.
Yeah. It's just not another Bob or Roger,
Larry.
Larry. Yeah. Okay. So we talked his name, which that like the whole name breaking thing was an interesting one of I'm going to say his name. And as I say it, I'm going to break the value of his name. Like it felt like a lot of things were done in a quick moment that I was like, okay, we're stacking our abilities. And in this one moment, sorry, we're on the topic of the name, but like when we discovered Kingfisher's name and, you know, Belicon was like, aha, like I know it now. Oh, go ahead. Someone commented.
No, you're right. It is Belicon, not Belcon. Belicon.
Oh,
Anyway, keep
nice.
going.
Belicon's like, I do know, like, now I know his name. And she's like, psych, not only did I use his name to break your curse, I also used my special thing to break the curse of the name. So it felt like we had two curses that were being broken simultaneously.
Well, and it's also like not a name that's a curse because it's sacred. And now you've taken away his ability to perform in the sacred rite of marriage because it requires a true name.
Which is what he said he wanted. Also, did she need to say that out loud? Couldn't she have used her special brain power to tell him that?
Exactly.
Why did she have to go, hey, everyone, this is a special name? Like, there's no rule of it has to be said out loud, or couldn't she just like whisper it a little bit more into his ear? Like,
Hey, babe.
hey, hey, babe, I'm going to give you your special name. And like, no one's going to hear it.
Yeah. 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 Here's the thing. I know we want to talk to Callie one day, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say because I stand by it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not above it either. Don't get me wrong, as a writer, it was convenient.
Yeah.
Just like getting rid of the blood court was convenient.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of things were very convenient. And I won't know until book 3 if she was being convenient or if there was like some larger thing at work, like at play right now. Like, is
Right.
she playing chess and I'm just talking checkers right now, but I don't know. Until then, a lot of things felt very convenient.
Yeah, exactly. May I read a comment?
Yeah.
Fiction fan says Kingfisher was a hard name for me as a reader, but the change did not make it better for me, and I really wanted it to. LOL. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I finally got on board with Kingfisher by the end.
It took me so long.
Finally, I was like, okay, you're going to call this man Fisher for short. Fuck it. I'm there. I'm with you. To Carrion, whatever the hell his name is. That was, it did not make it better. So let's talk about his progression. I actually enjoyed his point of views more in this book than sometimes I enjoyed Saeris's point of views.
Yes, agreed.
Particularly when he went to the desert world and to go get her brother.
Zilvarin.
Yeah.
I completely agree. I loved his journey with Carrion.
Yeah.
I love the understanding they came to.
Mm-hmm.
And, I do think at the end of the day, Callie showed Kingfisher's storyline and perspective more love than she did with Saeris's. She's like, I already gave Saeris a full book. I'm now really excited about Kingfisher.
Kingfisher's point of views were interesting. They were full of personality. Even though we said that there wasn't much from Kingfisher of saying like, yes, I'm in awe with Saeris and being able to be in this relationship. We did get hints of that. Like, I don't want to say that there wasn't any of that. I personally would have preferred more. I would have liked more conversation between the two rather than just his own narrative. I think that, his dynamic and his insecurity with Carrion was a great example of him learning to accept Saeris. I personally think that maybe he should have come to a realization about Saeris and having because like, did he have, They had that conversation before he had his sex dream with her.
Yes. I think so.
Yeah, because it was early on. They had just got to the place.
No.
It was after?
Yes, it was the sex dream came first because she healed him in the first sex dream.
Yeah.
And then I think they had the conversation about Saeris the next day.
Okay.
I think.
I can't remember.
Do you want me? I have my book behind me.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, please.
Now I have to remember what chapter it was.
It was early on-ish.
Is it before or after the scene with Everlane speaking with Adina's voice?
After.
I think it's after.
Or was it before? Because, yeah, I think Everlane comes after that because doesn't she go to her brother's first? Like she runs to her brother's thinking that there was something going on with her brother. And then she's like, oh shit, I actually need to go to Everlane.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, but I don't. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Oh, wait, I have a copy too. Let me open my copy also. We should at least have one solid thing. Oh, yeah. Okay, so it was happening before the Everlane thing.
It was.
Yeah, because I'm on page 200, and I mean, how short of a time? Okay, so I'm in around 300 is when we get the enemy of the crown stuff. Yeah, 288 is when he sees the brother.
Okay, so the first time they're in the sex cabin is start of chapter 20 is 246.
246, okay.
So after that, Kingfisher sees all the drawings that Carrion did of the past. Fiction fan says, my copy's at home, otherwise I would help.
Everyone should be helping.
Maybe it was before.
I'm looking.
So the bargain happens around 220, the bargain with the demon.
Because then, okay, so when does he say 220, you say?
So chapter 19, Kingfisher, they have bargained with the demon. They go back to the shop because they need the stuff to make the antidote.
And that conversation doesn't happen then before they go to sleep?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to be before then.
Okay, it does happen. It does happen in chapter 19, that conversation between Carrion and Kingfisher.
It's before he goes
to the sex dream.
Okay. I think it's worth that because I feel like that is a conversation that in theory would show Kingfisher, like show progression of Kingfisher's confidence in his relationship with Saeris because he's asking that out of a place of insecurity, out of a place of worry and being threatened.
Yeah.
And then he has this conclusion of, I feel bad for him because Saeris is not his. She's mine.
Right.
That would have made more sense if they had like a moment like after the sex dream for me, because that sex dream would have then signified a moment of them becoming closer and solidifying their relationship. And then he'd wake up and feeling more secure that Saeris is his and feeling like he's more confident asking Carrion that question.
Interesting. So I thought you were going to say something different, which I am now going to say because I actually think I'm okay with the order. And the reason is, to what extent is their ability to transport to this cottage in their dream confirmation of Kingfisher's growth because he's had that conversation with Carrion? Because he's made his peace with Carrion, he is now able to be like, and because of his security in his relationship with Saeris, they now are able to meet in that space.
If we had an equal moment with Saeris to show that they both had to get to that point to meet there, then yes. You know, like I would need it to be like, wow, we both realize I'm secure. You know what I mean? And then they find their way in. Like, I think that it can't be one-sided.
Yeah, I guess for me, because she understands the gravity of how long he's known about her And there's no equal to Carrion in Fisher's life?
No, I mean, when I say equal, I mean equal in the sense of accepting the relationship, of coming to that comfort, like we were just
Yeah.
talking about earlier, of like that there's no, both of them are in awe in different ways, right? Kingfisher
Right.
should be surprised of like, oh my God, I can't believe like I actually get to keep her. And Sarah should be, wait, I get to feel safe with someone for the first time
I
ever.
see what you're saying. I
So
see
if
what you're saying.
Sarah's had come to accept, oh, I feel safe, and then she goes to the dream at the same time that he's like, I'm secure in my relationship, then yeah, like then it would make sense. But I feel like that conversation showed a lot of progression on
Yeah.
Kingfisher's part. I think that it was personally should have been put in a different location just so that we could get that progression and have things make sense a little bit more to show that, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Even Aelin would pause to catch her breath. We'll be right back.
I have been traveling a lot for the holidays, and walking from one terminal to the next terminal is normally a total killer for me. I've got to say, the Walk Slim Glide from Bionic have been an absolute lifesaver.
That's because the Walk Slim glides have a sleek, low profile, and they're built to walk with you every day of the year, no matter the conditions. I love them and keep them in my office for any time I have to walk across campus.
I actually went ziplining this week in a cave, and I was the only one not complaining in my group about having to do the walk from zipline to zipline. I think that's impressive.
That's because Bionic has their exclusive VO motion technology. They revolutionized medical orthotics and have continued to use that science to make shoes like the Walk Slim Glides that make you feel energized and confident all day.
I was really confident throwing myself off of a ledge, that's for sure. Bionic even offers a 30-day guarantee. Wear them, love them, or return for a full refund within 30 days.
Use code BookTalk at checkout for 15% off your entire order at VionicShoes.com when you log into their account. It's a one-time use only, so get all the shoes.
Bionic Shoes, wearable well-being for your feet. I wear glasses every day of the week except weekends, and those become my fun contact days until I'm about to run out, which I am on my last pair of contacts right now. 1-800-CONTACTS has been my go-to for refills with my contacts.
I've known you long enough that you'll go weeks without getting your contacts because of the location. But 1-800-CONTACTS skips the hassle. They offer free and fast shipping on every order.
For over 30 years, 1-800-CONTACTS has been the leader in online contact lens delivery with millions of contacts in stock and award-winning customer service.
They even offer free returns and exchanges, which means you can order confidently. They even offer unbeatable perks like free torn lens replacement. Their best price guarantee means if you find your contacts at a lower price elsewhere, they will beat it. That's a promise you won't find everywhere.
That's seriously why I keep going back to 1-800-CONTACTS. And they have extra discounts for new customers on their site.
Getting contacts doesn't have to be a hassle. Let 1-800-CONTACTS get you the contact lenses you need right now.
Order online at 1-800-CONTACTS.com or download the free 1-800-CONTACTS app today. Amy, you know how I've been going to the gym now 5 to 6 times a week?
You are in your beast era.
I really am. I now start every day with AG1. And I'm telling you, I feel great.
And now is the time more than ever to be proactive about supporting your health.
Especially when you're traveling over the holidays or, honestly, the most germ-filled moment, large family gatherings. I know my family. It makes me feel more confident knowing that my immune system is getting the daily support it needs.
While everyone else at work has been getting sick, I've been taking my AG1 Next Gen, which contains more vitamins and minerals than ever before and is clinically shown to fill common nutrient gaps. And honestly, I enjoy the taste.
They taste so good. I don't know how they do that. Their flavors include original, citrus, berry, and tropical. What's been your favorite?
I've actually been doing the original pineapple and vanilla flavor.
You know I love citrus. I love their citrus.
AG1 has their best offer ever. If you head to drinkag1.com/booktalk, you'll get the welcome kit, a morning person hat, a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2, an AG1 flavor sampler, and you'll get to try their new sleep supplement, AGZ, for free, which has been a game changer for my nightly routine.
That's drinkag1.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, for $126 in free gifts for new subscribers.
Oh, Hilton stay, your beds are soft and cozy. No lumpy couch, no stiff futon, no shower line at crack of dawn. Oh, Hilton stay, our holiday you're saving.
When you want holiday comfort you can count on, it matters where you stay. This season, enjoy spacious, comfortable rooms and friendly service when you book with Hilton instead. Hilton for the stay.
Here's my 30-second story with Guinness. As soon as my sister and I get home for the holidays, we don't even unpack. We head straight to our pub. The bartender already knows our order, Guinness and fries. We laugh all night, catch up with old friends, and walk home with faces sore from smiling. It's one of my favorite nights of the year. That was my 30-second story with Guinness.
Guinness Draft Stout. Please enjoy responsibly. Imported by Diageo Beer Company, USA, New York, New York.
So, yeah, Kingfisher enjoyed his point of views. Thoroughly liked it. But in Carrion, always a blessing.
I love Carrion.
He's so funny. I like your horns.
As I was listening to the audiobook, I was like, okay, so Carrion is a lesson in whatever weird shit you can think up in your head, put that in dialogue.
Yeah.
Because it's so unexpected every time. But I do like him, and I like his story that's happening in the background of all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's secretly been obsessed with Evelia this entire time, has been trying to recall things.
Deciding whether or not to take up the mantle to...
Yeah.
I mean, his character progression was the best out of everyone in this book.
I completely agree.
Beautifully done. You don't need much to show it.
Mm-hmm.
It really spoke volumes. Yeah. I think Callie nailed Carrion, not just from his, fun personality, but just with his character development. Thoroughly nailed.
Yeah, and the way the development was portrayed.
Yeah. I mean, that's hard to do when you're doing behind the scenes, when they're not in the forefront.
Yeah.
And yet we got those moments. Okay, I'm just going to say two things that popped, like the one thing that popped into my mind, which is there's no transition, but I don't think there's going to be a place to put them in here naturally. This isn't just a Callie thing. This is a romantasy. This is a book thing. Because I can't relate to it. When something happens and it pops up, like Saeris being told, hey, there's a special book for you in this library, go look for it, and not picking up and go fucking looking for it. Or when Carrion says, hey, when I talk, plants grow, and not thinking, hey, Kingfisher, look at this. Does that fix the blight? Do you know what I mean? It just, I hate when books do that, because I feel like when you learn something that big, you should probably talk about it. And there's no, I forgot enough to make up for that.
I agree. I felt like the missing page in the journal, because of the one bird that flew out of the library and lost its magic. Like, I knew when that happened, it was going to be important.
Yeah.
And I felt like it towed the line of being believable that it was forgotten.
Yeah.
But I agree with the plant thing, the growing plants when Carrion talks. That's like an extreme of, none of us are forgetting this.
Yeah.
Why are your characters forgetting this right now?
Why is that not an immediate, like, interesting, Kingfisher, what the, like, hey, maybe there's a blight that's destroying the land, and we have a lost prince who can talk and have, and that's like, and then plants grow. It's not me being a particularly smart reader. It's not me being a particularly, I'm putting two and together, and this isn't like, what an idiot that Saeris can't do it. I know the same amount of information as Saeris. It's
Mhm.
not like this is not me saying, how can she not see this? I am getting the same information as her.
Yeah.
And she's not connecting it, or at the very least talking to someone smarter than her to connect that.
Right. And that's where I find the missing page to toe the line. Like,
Yeah.
because she remembers it in such a way that it withholds the information from the reader until she gets to the page.
Mhm.
Right? Which implies a level of cleverness that is not being shared with the reader. But when this plant thing is happening, I feel a lot smarter than the character, and that's problematic.
Or when one of the attacks were happening and then someone looked at her and said, "Hey, what about the special book that's full of prophecies? Have you
Mm.
checked it?" And she was like, "Oh my god, you're right, I haven't checked it."
That should be your first thing.
Yeah, like, she was like, "I haven't checked it since the night of the blood stuff, of the blood court and everything." Like, how is that not the first thing that you're doing of saying, "Okay, next page, come back to blah, blah, blah. Alright, I'll
Mhm.
make sure to
Mhm.
think of that." I can't believe that a character has forgotten that. I
Yep.
cannot believe that there's this super valuable thing that in the middle of this blood court, everything is going tits up. You have enough, like, forethought to think, "Oh, I should take this," but you're also not going to think, "I should probably flip a page and see where we've left off."
Yeah. Look, I remember forgetting whether or not I locked the door within seconds of leaving my front door. I get that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't get I don't get the whole I have a book of prophecies and I forget to look at it.
I'm gonna conveniently forget to look at the book of prophecies to see
Yeah.
what I'm doing on the next page. The second I'm done with one prophecy, I'd be on to the next, being like, "Okay, come back when
Yeah.
X meets the Z." You know what I mean? And then I'd be like ready for it. But it's one of those moments where it's like, I cannot be smarter than the narrator. And it's not even because I have information she doesn't know. We have the exact same amount of information.
Yeah. Exactly. May I read
Yeah.
a comment? Fiction fan says, with the book, I remembered the bird in her pocket, but I guess I assumed it was included in the binding because it still surprised me later. LOL. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm more thinking of the fact that she has this dream, and in the dream, the mom was like, or not the dream, but like in the conversation, the mom was like, "In the library, there is a book. It is blue. It is everything. You're going to have to find it." Why does she not go looking for it? Like, that's my thing where, why was there not a moment? Because where does she find it again? She finds it with the birds, with the magic
Yeah.
birds. That's what it comes
Yeah.
down to. You're telling me she doesn't go looking for it at one point?
Yeah, I don't know. I think also the confusing thing is that conversation happens at college. And so I thought she meant the library at college.
Yeah. Go look at the library in college.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
spend time in the library of college thinking she just spent the last 2 hours looking for this damn book and couldn't find anything.
I think she looked.
If I'm wrong, I apologize. If I'm wrong, that's on me. If I'm right, then
I don't remember
no, this isn't an if I'm right to you. This is like an if I'm right to the I don't know, the
someone.
people out there. Shall we read listener thoughts?
Everybody take a sip.
Okay, should we do things that they liked first?
Yeah.
Miss Lynn Scott says, "I like the characters and the people. There was good build for most of them." Supporting characters, I think, got
Yeah.
a lot more love.
Yeah. Of the 10 comments I'm looking at least 7 of them say Carrion, but also
Yeah.
have more content.
Yeah.
M. Steves says Carrion. Steph Nicole says the world building and added locations, Carrion and Kingfisher banter / friendship.
Mm-hmm. Kennedy says, "The plot is plotting. No forced miscommunication trope. The ancient Fey men have actual past and complex relationships and history." And Onyx. I loved the lack of miscommunication, or just like,
Yeah.
or as I like to call it, over communication of being like, you know what? I'm going to trust telling my partner on this.
You know what? The only miscommunication trope were the letters withheld from Foley, and I was okay with that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Like, that felt like the right level of miscommunication.
And realistic.
I didn't feel like miscommunication needed to come up anywhere else.
Yeah, I know I said that I'm surprised that they became so solid, Saeris and Kingfisher, but I do like how solid they are and that there wasn't anything that was going to shake them up. I do like that a lot.
Katie Jean Jellybean says Carrion fucking Swift, Saeris beating the shit out of Hayden, which I also appreciate, and interesting book 3 setup.
Yeah, the brother, Hayden, ooh, he deserved getting his ass kicked, and boy, did I love it when Saeris punched him.
Yep.
I honestly think there should be more of that. I don't like him at all.
Yeah. How much do you want to bet? Because Kingfisher constantly was like, they're nothing alike. They're nothing alike. Oh, I guess I can see a little bit.
That they're not related.
I bet or like they have different fathers.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that comes up in book 3.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
Ashley says Carrion and Onyx.
Only Misty says everything, but mostly Saeris kicking ass and Kingfisher respecting her independence and badassery. Yeah, I liked once they're together, once I'm like, all right, we're not going to have any development. We're here. I enjoyed their relationship a lot.
Other than the obsession?
That's not what I'm classifying as their relationship. That's just a side thing.
That's fair. Can I just say something? I think the first 2 sex scenes, which are at separate times, Saeris, both times, I'm pretty sure, says, he was carved from marble. I'm like, really? You couldn't come up with something more creative? Like, if you're that obsessed with him, be more creative in your descriptions of him. You can't say marble for 1,000 years.
I know. And honestly, that the only person can say like marble is Edward Twilight, because he is quite literally knock on him like a marble. Oh, someone says I'm going to DM you because it's too long. There's something from Madison. Do you see that in DMs? Let's see.
I can go look at it. DMs.
Oh, we have several DMs.
Okay, let's get through the short ones that we have.
Okay.
Allie says, not done with the book yet, but a big fan of Tell so far. God, I hope I don't regret saying that.
I do like Tal. I like Tal.
I do like Tal.
I hope that Foley and Tal.
Yeah, Foley and Tell. Yeah.
I very, very into them.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't really have anything else on the pluses.
I do.
Okay.
The diary entries.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few mentions of Carrion and Fisher banter.
Oh, getting to know Carrion through Kingfisher also, quote, I'm going to cause a fucking scene was hilarious.
Yeah.
What was that part?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
I don't remember.
This one's not a positive, so this is a good transition one. I liked that 12 chapters in, I remembered I have free will and used it to DNF.
Let's talk about the ending.
Before we go into things people don't like.
Because I think that's part of things that people didn't like. I'm going to just kind of summarize a little bit. I mean, that's, or what do you want to do? Do you want to talk about the ending or things people didn't like?
Let me read. We just got a comment from a live listener about what they liked.
Yeah.
Olivia says, I liked the prophecy journal, God Swords moment towards the end. Onyx grew on me way more. And Carrion starting to step into his Fae Prince role.
Okay. All right. I'm going to read Madison, who said, Amy's still reading something.
No, I was in my own head thinking about something. Go ahead.
Madison says, hi, I left a comment on your Quicksilver episode on Spotify, but wanted to reach out about this cool thing I realized. People give the name Kingfisher a lot of hate because they think it's weird, but what they don't realize is that it's a reference to an Arthurian legend of the Kingfisher. In the story, the king is tasked with guarding the Holy Grail, and he is considered both the protector and physical embodiment of his realm. Yes, I'm pulling from Wikipedia. He gets wounded, which leaves him impotent and his kingdom barren. And since he can't really do much, he spends his time fishing while he waits for the, quote, chosen one, who can heal him. There's about more to it, but there's a lot of parallels between how he has to wait for Saeris to rescue him from a literal pool, and he is also the literal king that's been hella wounded. I actually haven't read Brimstone yet, though it's on my nightstand ready to go, but I'm intrigued to see if the Arthurian legend parallels are continued through the rest of the series. I love you guys and have been listening to your podcast since ACOTAR 1, and I feel like I'm DMing my friends right now.
Aw.
Oh, thanks, Madison.
I did not know that about Arthurian legend, so I appreciate that information being shared.
Yeah, that makes sense why Eve was saying there's a lot of Arthurian legend to it, and I was like,
Oh,
uh-huh,
yeah. I was like,
uh-huh.
is there, Eve?
I mean, she had to pull a sword.
That's true. It's true, it's true. Eve is smart. Smarter than me.
Eve is so much smarter than both of us, yeah.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what else pulls from. I'm trying to think, like, are the lupus, whatever they're called, their little group, like the Knights of the Round Table?
Yeah, it does. Oh, well then who is going to be okay, hold on. There's Arthur,
Who's
there's
Lancelot and Gwendolyn?
yeah, who's the kind of.
I don't know.
There's a lot. I mean, does that make Saeris King Arthur cuz she pulled the sword?
What if Carrion is King Arthur?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
Because he gets his own god sword as well.
Mhm. I mean, there's a lot. Once Eve was like, Arthurian legend, I did think about it when I was home and I was like, oh, actually, I do see that quite a bit. And now with this, I'm like, oh, even better. Thank you, smart listeners.
Yeah.
But that was a good one. Okay, let me read some other ones because I know that there's some more. Nope. And okay. All right. So I'm going to read a things that people don't like. This one is from Lynn. The travel via magic was getting annoying. Felt like it was just to move location rather than adding any value to the plot.
Yeah, it's so interesting because there were some times that they would not travel by magic, and I'm like, "Why aren't you traveling by magic? Like, why are you wasting time?"
Yeah.
But I get it, I get it. It's another convenience thing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why, like, you're either gonna overuse it or you shouldn't have it at all.
Yeah. All right. I'm just going to read you the negatives and then you react.
Okay.
Plot felt slow at times and just like we're jumping about too much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree.
Pacing was off. Too many things seem abandoned when the plot didn't need them. Yeah.
I mean, and that's a second book slump, if definition right there, right?
Yeah. I would also say, based off of the first book and now this one, and I haven't read any of Callie's other books, her pacing of books are different.
Yeah.
The way that she breaks them up is pretty different.
Mhm.
That was one of the things we talked about with Quicksilver. And for us, it didn't really bug us with Quicksilver that the pacing was just kind of, the structure was just different. Like she just structures a book differently. And I don't
Yeah.
know if that's a Callie thing or if that's this series thing. But right now we're
Yeah.
2 for 2 on the structure was just different.
Yeah, I think why I was okay with the pacing in Quicksilver is because there was so much tension between
Mhm.
Saeris and Kingfisher that motivated me to keep
Yeah.
going, whereas I was not motivated to finish this book.
I know you weren't. You really weren't.
It took me a long time to finish it, which is saying something.
Let's see. Mego, my ego. I love her. I always love her. I don't know what else to say. It was too horny. The world was ending and all they could think about was biting each other and having sex. Which I mean, you do you, but dang.
Yeah. And I think that probably added to my difficulty finding the motivation because I'm like, there's no tension to make the blight seem like a real threat.
Yeah. It really went from the gods are destroying the world to here's a blight. We're only going to kind of mention it a couple times.
Yeah. It's spreading.
Yeah. Jay says, I started this and I'm struggling to get into it, finding it meh and a bit disjointed. Yeah. And then Kennedy says her team let her down with timeline errors and Carrion being 2 places at once. We now know that there's a timeline thing because I saw so much discourse online of people talking about like there's so many errors. There was more conversation about her leaving errors than there were conversations of you guys, these are clues.
Yeah.
And this is where it's like, oh, just from a writing technique, not from a Callie writing technique. This is more of a me thinking as a writer, if I want to leave clues, do you need to be a bit more heavy-handed with your clues so you don't have people in an uproar being like, there's so many mistakes?
Or do you leave different clues?
Mm-hmm.
Like, having the same character in two places is always going to seem like an error.
Yeah.
There are other ways to imply or to suggest that there's something bigger going on, a la a timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Abigail Owen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's a perfect example going from the games gods play to the things gods break.
Yeah. And a done well part.
Well, yeah, I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't read it, but in how to give clues that don't come across as errors.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing that I saw a couple people comment on, and I do want to talk about it, is Onyx, his death and resurrection.
I loved that he died. I
Yep.
was sobbing like a little baby.
Yep. Hated that he was brought back to life.
Hated that he was brought back to life. I really wanted Saeris to fail because Saeris needs to fail at some point. And maybe the reason why she succeeded is going to play a bigger part in book 3.
It is.
It's set up for something else. But I loved the emotion that it brought out. I loved the progression of Fisher's relationship with Onyx and how that made him vulnerable.
Yeah. It's 100% going to come back. Saeris is going to bring back someone to life. And I can tell you that someone is going to be either Kingfisher, Carrion, or her brother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the other thing, is that, like, we just got the groundwork that we know she's going to have to do that. But in order to bring someone back to life, she has to sacrifice big magic, because she had to sacrifice that one magic thing that she got in order to get Onyx. And as they clearly said, Onyx is little magic for little animal. So if you're going to get a Kingfisher, a Carrion, someone bigger,
she's going to sacrifice all of her fucking magic.
I hope that's not what's going to happen. I hope that's not the case.
If she sacrifices all her magic to bring back a man, doesn't matter who the man is.
Mm-hmm.
You think people were mad when Aelin gave up her magic? It's going to be bad.
Yeah. And that's the thing where it's like, once that happened, I was like, shit, she's going to bring someone back and lose her powers. That's what that's going to be. They set it up. And I agree. I personally would have preferred, I'm not saying I would have preferred a dead Onyx, but like, I think that it's the bringing a couple things. The creature thing that like gave her the spell, like you can unbreak. Yeah, you can unbreak anything. Made a good point of saying, hey, you can use this to save all your friends and break their little name, their special name thing. You can do that. You cool for spending it for a fox? And I'm sure there's everyone out there being like, I would do that for my animal. However, you are in the middle of a war. You have to, this is going across different worlds. You're going to lose more than a fox.
Yeah.
It was a dumb, like, I personally, as a vampire queen warrior, would not have done it.
I think the first thing you have to learn as a leader is sacrifice.
Yeah.
And Onyx died in a terrible way, and it is tragic. He could have followed her around as a spirit.
I agree. Like, is Onyx with me right now? Yes. And he will continue to be. Yeah.
Okay, I feel comfort. Yeah. Yeah. I think the level of selfishness that Saeris displays in that moment is necessary if she's ultimately going to have to bring someone else back from the dead, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I understand it from like a character perspective. From a writing perspective, is that the message I want to share as the author?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry, there was like, I had many thoughts and then they all left me at one time. What were you saying before?
I was saying that Sarah's choosing to resurrect Onyx.
Yeah.
Not about like that being the choice I want to make.
I don't know.
Oh, about Onyx staying with her as a spirit?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Okay. I'm just going to come up with new thoughts now and hope for the best. Yes. It needs to show her emotional level. It needs to show this level of, I like how you said, selfishness. Oh, now I remember. We haven't had a major death yet. Book 1,
Yeah.
book 2, I thought Archer was going to be it. And I was ready
Yeah.
for Archer to die. And I was about to be like,
Yep.
damn, Callie, you go there. And then, okay, Archer didn't die. And then I was like, oh shit, we're going to kill the fox. Yeah. Like, like now you're really going to go for the pain. But the fox doesn't die. And it's losing the stakes. It's losing the, and now that we've established that Saeris can bring people back.
Yeah. It's doing an SJM all over again in ACOTAR.
It is. And yet I'm more bothered by this than I am with that one. And I don't know why. Which I'm sure maybe because we haven't done ACOTAR in so long that I'll be willing to go back to it and be annoyed again. But it is one of those moments where I'm just like, I really like, we're going to get a death. And I don't think that any death is going to be a big enough death because you've held off this long. I think that if you want to avoid major character deaths, I need smaller character deaths leading up to it, like book 1, book 2.
Right. Well, and that's exactly what I was going to say. I need more frequent minor character deaths. Like, look at, I hate to say it, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. At least more people died.
Hell yeah.
Onyx Storm, kind of.
I think back to, again, the woman who shall not be named, J.K. Rowling, not supported here. We don't like her. But one thing that she said when it came to the 7th book was that she knew she didn't want the big characters to die. And so she decided to kill one of the Weasley twins. Like, so she was like, okay, I'm going to kill everyone else then. You know what I mean? And that book, that series is one of the best examples of like, you just kill them off and that's okay. Like it hurts so much, but that's what she did in order to keep the big 3, the main 3 characters. And she made that choice. It was a very conscious choice she made. And now what? Lorith dies. I won't care as much, to be honest. Danica, the woman who's not named Danica, but like
Danya.
I like anyone else who dies, I am not invested in them.
Yeah.
And it won't hurt the way that I need it to hurt for Sarah. Like Sarah should have grown by now through that. Her mom died. That's sad. That's not like, we need her to grow up more in this world now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say the other thing, but I can't believe I mentioned it. The one thing that I actually am very mad about with this book, and this is one that I wouldn't gladly tell Callie this. I'm too much of a chicken shit for that. But I am shocked and I don't like it, is when during one of the sex dreams that they have, Saeris and Kingfisher, they're sitting on the grass. She's straddling his lap, legs around him, and then she leans back and they talk about her hip bones. And they talk about her hip bones several times. She leans back, oh, my hip bones. And then she even asks him, do you like my hip bones? I love your hip bones. And in a world where we just had the Wicked tour, in a world where eating disorders is going up, in a world where, people are talking about Ariana Grande's collarbone and shoulders, and people are calling it inspiration. And we have these young girls who have who watch Wicked, go home and are like, maybe I'm going to skip dinner. In a world where we have all of these like toxic ass things online, you are going to mention hip bones and talk about them hip bones being sexy?
Yeah.
I think that's very irresponsible as a writer. And you can have a thin main FMC. That's okay. But to idolize bones like that, I think is extremely irresponsible.
Well, and here's the thing that I find puzzling about all of this is that, okay, Saeris is malnourished in book 1. In book 2, it explicitly states early on, Saeris is like, oh, now that I'm well fed, I've filled out pretty well.
Yeah.
And my ass and boobs are bigger. Good for you, babe. Leave it at that. Why do we need anything else about her body?
We've had enough books where FMCs are malnourished and then they come in and they get to be fed. we've have FMCs where they are petite little violet sorangale their bones are quite literally breakable. Actually, that's an actual condition. I will not be making fun of that. But like what I mean is that there's like enough thin FMCs out there. And I'm not going to pretend like my FMC that I wrote, she is thin. I will not be discussed. And anytime bones are discussed is discussed in the context of too thin, hasn't eaten. And then when they go, yay, they plumped up. That's a good thing. It is just so irresponsible in the world that we live in today to have discourse on hip bones and to make it be a good thing like that.
It's really to glorify it as something to aspire for because it's sexy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I hate to say it. I love hip bones. I think they're sexy. I haven't seen mine since I was 18. And you know what? I probably never will.
I mean, it's like, that's the thing though. Like, I'm not saying that people can't find those things sexy, but like as an author, there is a responsibility, an author where your audience is female. We're not going to pretend like, yes, there's like, the 5 male readers, but like this is a book for women. Young women, a lot of young women out there, even if you're not young, you're not a young woman. Women who grew up in the fucking 90s and had to deal with heroin chic. Like, you can have your preference. And I know we had like, people might be like, that's kind of double standard because we have these books that have, these MMCs that have like, the most ripped bodies. And again, the FMCs are thin. I'm not bitching about her being thin. That's fine. I don't relate to it when they're having a sex scene and they put a hand on the lower belly. Then I'm like, sorry, can't relate. I'd be batting that away so fast. That I have no problems with that. It's the hip bone that I just thought that was really irresponsible. And who knows, maybe people will be listening to this and be like, get the fuck over it. That's nothing to do with you. And this probably comes from a place of having a lot of body dysmorphia, who's never been thin, who's had, just recently rediscovered my collarbone. I mean, like, I get it. This comes from a very specific place, but this also comes from a place that I believe that popular authors have a responsibility.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you for my little rant. Okay. What about the ending?
May I read a listener comment?
Yeah.
Fiction fan, let's see. Olivia said, yes, so hard to get through in terms of Brimstone. And then Fiction fan said, I felt like Onyx's death would have been full circle from the prologue where Fisher saves him. And as happy as I am that he isn't gone, I did question the choice.
I agree.
Yes. I understand the full circleness of it.
Yeah, full circle is when they die. Like,
yeah. Or when, somehow Onyx gives up his, like, the fact that Onyx gives up his life to save Saeris or to save Fisher in exchange for the fact that Fisher saved his life first. That's
great.
Beautiful. That is poetic.
Yeah.
Why give that up?
Yeah, you undermine it by bringing it back to life. Okay, Steph says it was a very standard middle of the series book. Everything and nothing happened, leaving a lot of things needing to be fulfilled in the final book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It was just a lot of setup.
Yeah. I'm just kind of powering through some of these comments. Kind of choppy. And did Saeris and Fisher have personality transplants? ? No banter? They didn't have any banter.
They didn't.
That's the thing when someone becomes like too comfortable with someone,
Mm-hmm.
The pacing, the word mate used, they made up many numbers, times. Timeline seemed poorly planned. Okay, we know the timeline issue. Feels like every romantasy thing stuffed into one: metal, vamps, runes, portals. That was book 1 too. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't dock it from book 1 and then not come here. I only made it 46% in and hardly anything happened. Got so sick of their inner monologue. We're meant to be together, my mate. A lot of people had issues with that. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we know you're in love. Now do some plot. Stop explaining it. Show me.
Yeah. It's fair. I think those are all valid.
Another. This is from Equin. Says, I felt like I kept saying, land the plane, or this could have been an email. Oh, that hit definitely. That's so funny. Okay, let's talk about the ending. So the ending is they go through the Agen Gate and they go through a stinky portal. I'm quoting a TikTok person that I was listening to explain it to me, and she called it the stinky portal. And one of the theories that I've seen online is that it's a Quicksilver portal gone bad. So
Mm.
they've gone through the stinky portal. They end up in this other place that's a hell of some sort. We find out that's where Kingfisher was before, and that's where he got some of the Quicksilver in his eye. We know that they were like, "Wait a minute, you can't have that sword. That can't be your sword." But we know that it's his sword because Rune's twin sister died and put her soul into it. And
Rune Redfist. Wrong series.
you know what's funny is I don't regret it. And then at the very end, we know, like, so they're kind of strung up, they're tied, and then he starts fighting people. And then there's dragons involved, and they're just like,
Mhm.
you killed our person, which turns out this is what I mean about you needed like other information. So that other dragon was kind of like a representative that went rogue and then made a deal with like the vampire king and was like, you could take all the people we kill.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Now I understand why we needed to read it.
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed with if you have to.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
so what I understood from the end of the book
Wait,
is
I'm not.
that
Wait, I'm going to keep the summary. And then Kingfisher goes, we need to go talk to daddy.
yeah, yeah. Love it. I love that you stopped me just to say that.
I was waiting for it.
You've
Right.
been waiting all day to say
Talk
that.
to daddy. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. You can talk now.
so, so what I got from the end of the book without reading the bonus chapter is that the dragon that Kingfisher killed was the offspring of the dragon that they met, who was like, well, fuck you. I'm going to send you on. Whatever.
Mhm.
Anyway. So, but you're saying there was even more layers to that.
There was a lot more layers to the Battle of Agen. You get background as to who that dragon was, why that dragon went rogue, why they killed the dragon, and everything behind it. And also the fact that Kingfisher was a teenager when he went through or was younger. And there was just a lot more to this scene if you had read those bonus chapters, which again, if you need to if you I have issues
Yeah,
with bonus chapters.
I do too.
And yeah, like if it needs to be a part of it, then include it.
Well, here's the thing, and we know this kind of from our writer friends, bonus chapters are commodification. Like bonus chapters are incentive that allow publishers to make more money, right? That's and I okay, it's canon, but if you really need to know it, this is why I don't read SJM bonus chapters
But that's
unless
because
it's for
you don't need to read SJM
you don't
bonus
need to.
chapters. They're
Right.
fun. Like bonus chapters are this like here's a little cute little snippet that I couldn't include. But that's not what happened. You end up getting basically a novella. I mean, that's me being dramatic, but you get a fair amount and you turn it into an audiobook that you're then selling and promoting. That's a cash grab.
Yeah.
And to say you don't need it, but you actually kind of do.
Mhm.
If it's a fucking cash grab, make it a cash grab. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
just say it. Just be like, yes, you do need this one. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Or do what SJM did, which is I'm going to publish the first chapter or this novella for free
Yeah.
what was it, week before, the day before, whatever,
Yeah.
as a marketing tactic
Mhm.
for the book release, not as a cash grab.
Yeah. I hate bonus chapters that are needed because I frankly don't have the time and I don't want to go spend money on that. I want to
Right.
see how long it is. The
The audio version.
yeah,
Fiction Fan
audio.
says, I feel like that's the true spirit of a bonus chapter. It's an extra. a bonus. Exactly. It's not supposed to. My understanding of bonus chapters was always, here's a cute scene where you get to see your favorite characters again, and they have a non-important interaction, but you love it.
Yeah. Yep.
That's what it's about. It's not about lore.
No. It's over 2 hours long. That's not a bonus chapter.
That's not a bonus chapter.
If I have to commit to 2 hours of audio to know what's happening, to better understand this, that's a novella. I get that you didn't want to include Kingfisher into this, but then into the first book because you didn't want to spoil things. Treat it like a novella then. Treat it like its own publication thing.
Or why wasn't it the prologue? Because then it would have been full circle in the actual book, right? Because I was spending the whole last bit being like, why the fuck is this going so fast?
Yeah. One of the things I told you was the climax is weird.
Yeah. It didn't feel like a climax.
All of a sudden, I looked and I'm like, okay, Onyx is dead. We only have 20 minutes left in this book. I was like, where is this going? And why is it that cutting off this guy's head isn't enough? Bellicon, okay, can't you just keep his head?
Yeah. Like you kept the demon?
Yeah. Why can't you?
Yeah.
Why can't you just cut it off and run with it? I have real questions.
True.
Or cut his hands, cut his dick off, run with that. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that you have him there. The second you take the sword out, he has his powers. Okay, so then mutilate him.
Yeah.
Why is that so hard?
Yeah.
God.
We're not moral beings, is what the answer.
I'm a vampire queen warrior. Yeah, the ending was, for a book that was really long in parts, the ending was oddly rushed, and then the climax was really weird. Where all of a sudden we are fighting Bellicon, and then we're saving Onyx, and then we're running into this Asian, and then now we're going through it was very confusing at the end.
Yeah. Regarding the smelly gate,
yeah,
I was expecting that to be Brimstone related, because Brimstone in theory is like magma.
Well, because the dragons put out brimstone with their mouths.
Right.
They burn out brimstone.
Well, and I'm also thinking sulfur. It probably smells like sulfur. Anyway, doesn't matter. Whatever. I was really stuck on the smelly gate discussion.
Let's come back to, I sent you some TikToks. So if you ever want to go.
I'll have to look at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also sent you TikToks about Canva and some of their new updates that I feel like you'll be really into. Yeah.
Yeah.
Overall, I enjoyed the book. Overall, I think that there's going to be a lot that we'll look back on. I'll be like, oh, that's what you were doing, Callie. Yeah, Amy, go ahead. You have thoughts.
Yeah. The question I'm asking myself internally right now is, did I like Brimstone more than I liked Onyx Storm?
Ooh. I almost think I like Onyx Storm more.
I don't think I did.
I think the ending of Onyx Storm was a smashing success.
The ending of Onyx Storm was more impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ending of Onyx Storm hit. Onyx Storm was a series of weird short stories that was trying to tell a larger story, and there was a lot of confusing things about it, and she just kept introducing characters and wouldn't take away any characters. However, when it comes to a book that I need to go into the next book, right? If it's a series and this is the second book and you're trying to get me to the next book, I need that cliffhanger
to hit.
Yeah, I need the ending to hit.
And the question is Kingfisher being half god hitting enough?
Can we confirm that he's half god?
That's true.
Is he a quarter god? Is he 1/4? Is what kind of... We know that his dad disappeared. We know that his dad had shadow magic. We know, but there's a certain amount of so does that mean, are those guys his brothers? Because hold on, let me read that ending, because the last few words were confusing to me. Okay. I love you, Saeris Vane.
He kissed me so hard, and so many unspoken things passed between us as he did. Promises and hopes, oaths and regrets. He tore away from me and was gone. In 4 long strides, he was towering.
I will never become an audio and actor.
He was towering over the one called Crave, grabbing him by the front of his armor and pulling him up from the ground.
Who are you? Crave choked out. I'm killing it.
You are. Even
Only-
Fiction Fan says I need an audiobook read by Jack.
Only half gods may wield the shadows.
Carrion drew in the deep breath, ignoring the male's question.
I've come for a dragon, as is my right. Summon our father. Tell him I've come to make a trade.
Okay, so here's the last line question. I've come for a dragon, as is my right. Okay, so maybe like if he is like part god, that's like their right is to have a dragon.
Or of his father's lineage, like it's his birthright.
Yeah, and then he says summon our father. So like is Crave his brother then? Or are we talking,
Yeah. I don't know.
Tell him I've come to make a trade, which is the trade that Saeris read in the journal. I do love a little clue there, come back there.
Right.
So that is enough. Like, is that as impactful of an end for me to be like, wow, like I need to absolutely know? The answer is yes. We have a fucking book podcast. We're going to do, when the next one comes out, we're going to talk about that one too. We have no choice on this. However,
I really hope it delivers.
I do too. And is this a 3-book series or is this a more book series?
I think it's a trilogy.
So I mean, like, there's going to be a lot to wrap up because then you have to explain timelines. Then you have to explain what's happening with each timeline. Then you need to explain like Duddy. And then you need to have like all these other things going on. Book 3 will have a lot to do. And this second book, I think, with book 3 will either be such a fucking good second book when you go back and reread and know what you know.
Yeah.
Or book 3 is going to have like too much to juggle and not be able to do it.
It's going to be like House of Flame and Shadows is what it risks being like House of Flame and Shadows.
I'm sure one day I'm going to go back and read House of Flame and Shadows because we have a podcast and one day we'll have to do it. But it's
I'm hoping distance makes it better.
Yeah. I think distance will make it better. I think reading Silver Flames will make it better. It'll be interesting where Brimstone, did it fall into second book slump? Maybe a little bit, but you don't know if it's done it until the third book comes out, and that's what's going to be tricky.
That's true. Yeah, that is when I'm going to have to reread Quicksilver and Brimstone.
We're going to have to read it physically, and I'm sad. The audiobook, the actors are great.
They are so good.
I'm also sad because like it's just so easy not to.
Yeah.
It's just great not having. But there's just so many things that people were talking about and they're like highlighting it and they're like, and in this scene, I'm like, what do you mean Carrion was in 2 places at once? I didn't even notice that. And apparently there's more timeline issues.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
You and I did not notice that.
Usually I catch that shit. I was not focused.
No. Again, you think you're good at multitasking.
Shush. Fiction Fan has sent more comments.
All right, go ahead.
On bonus chapters, I love the idea of extra scenes and bonus content. It's the consumerism that makes me sad. Why should we have to buy 3+ copies of a book to get all the content? Also, I initially read 5 books and then that it's 3 books with planned spin-offs with other characters. I've checked nothing for certain. So I think in Publishers Marketplace, I think Callie sold the rights to 3 books associated with this series.
Carrion's going to get his own book series. There's no question.
Oh,
that is,
I could see that.
That is an easy money grab. That is an easy, and honestly, I can probably guess that's going to, I mean, I'll be happy for it. Like, people are going to come crawling for Carrion.
Yeah.
Again, I hope this isn't the case, but we know Saeris is going to try to bring someone back from the dead. We know it's going to cost a lot of magic. I think there's a solid chance that it's Carrion, I'm worried. Like, we could put 2 and 2 together. 1, she's going to bring someone back from the dead. 2, it requires a lot of magic. I hope it doesn't mean what we think it's going to mean.
I would be okay if it meant both Saeris and Kingfisher at the end of their third book have to give up both of their lives to save Carrion so that he can be the king he was destined to be, and thereby which Carrion absorbs all of Saeris' magic.
Are you killing off both Kingfisher and Saeris?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we know that's never going to happen. There would be a full revolt.
That would be the only way I would accept it.
Could be a full revolt on your hands there. I mean, I think it's going, if it does, it'll be like she turns into full fae and not a vampire anymore. You know what I mean? Like she's got two sides to her, and Mommy Fisher said don't turn into a human just yet.
Yeah.
And so she's like, great, don't have to think about that.
Yeah.
And to me, implies that there's going to be a moment where she will have to take that potion, or something. There's value to her having two avenues of power. So if she sacrifices something, she might only sacrifice one, and then she becomes full fae.
Yeah.
And then we know she's going to get her like ovaries fixed and healed and stuff.
I know. Are we going to have another pregnancy trope after we just talked about pregnancy tropes yesterday?
I am okay with the pregnancy trope. I love it.
I'm not okay if it's about hanging someone up on a pedestal and that's the only purpose it serves.
Agreed. I'm okay with it not being a pregnancy trope and it's just like, ta-da, you're healed. We'll deal with that later.
Yeah. Yeah. Join the rest of the books that have done that.
It's like he's 1,000 years old. He's 1,000 years old. And we know that there's some timeline issues or like time things because Carrion is 1,700 years old, but he's not 1,700 years old because time works differently between the two. But at the same time, did we actually see that? Because when Kingfisher went back to get her brother, did we see there be more time that passed than, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I have no idea.
I mean, and that I feel like that's going to be a book 3 thing. So this has been our probably 2-hour long Brimstone analysis because we had to cut halfway through.
Yeah.
I hope you guys like it. I hope.
Not analysis, reaction.
Reaction. It's not an analysis.
And this probably comes out on Christmas. So for those of you who observe, Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas.
And those of people who don't, happy Brimstone analysis or flash reaction. That's I hope, will Callie not talk to us now? Solid chance.
Well, she was never going to talk to us at this rate.
I had connections that haven't reached back. No. You and I have talked about this before. Was this the book that makes her the next Yaros?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it did.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm all for it. Bring it on.
Yeah.
Support. Mwah. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Mwah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Book Talk for Book Talk with Jack and Amy. Next week, we will return to our discussion of Sarah J. Maas's Heir of Fire.
If you're enjoying the show, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps other readers find us. And of course, we'd love to hear what you thought of today's episode. Share your comments through our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com, and we might feature your feedback in a future mini episode or in a Patreon exclusive episode.
For merch and more ways to support the show, head to booktalkforbooktalk.com. You can also follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at the handle Booktalk for Book Talk. And don't forget to join us by subscribing to the subtextsocietyjournal.substack.com to get more insights into the romantasy and romance world. Bye.
Bye.
I wear glasses every day of the week except weekends, and those become my fun contact days until I'm about to run out, which I am on my last pair of contacts right now. 1-800-CONTACTS has been my go-to for refills with my contacts.
I've known you long enough that you'll go weeks without getting your contacts because of the location. But 1-800-CONTACTS skips the hassle. They offer free and fast shipping on every order.
For over 30 years, 1-800-CONTACTS has been the leader in online contact lens delivery with millions of contacts in stock and award-winning customer service.
They even offer free returns and exchanges, which means you can order confidently. They even offer unbeatable perks like free torn lens replacement. Their best price guarantee means if you find your contacts at a lower price elsewhere, they will beat it. That's a promise you won't find everywhere.
That's seriously why I keep going back to 1-800-CONTACTS. And they have extra discounts for new customers on their site.
Getting contacts doesn't have to be a hassle. Let 1-800-CONTACTS get you the contact lenses you need right now.
Order online at 1-800-CONTACTS.com or download the free 1-800-CONTACTS app today. Amy, you know how I've been going to the gym now 5 to 6 times a week?
You are in your beast era.
I really am. I now start every day with AG1. And I'm telling you, I feel great.
And now is the time more than ever to be proactive about supporting your health.
Especially when you're traveling over the holidays or, honestly, the most germ-filled moment, large family gatherings. I know my family. It makes me feel more confident knowing that my immune system is getting the daily support it needs.
While everyone else at work has been getting sick, I've been taking my AG1 Next Gen, which contains more vitamins and minerals than ever before and is clinically shown to fill common nutrient gaps. And honestly, I enjoy the taste.
They taste so good. I don't know how they do that. Their flavors include original, citrus, berry, and tropical. What's been your favorite?
I've actually been doing the original pineapple and vanilla flavor.
You know I love citrus. I love their citrus.
AG1 has their best offer ever. If you head to drinkag1.com/booktalk, you'll get the welcome kit, a morning person hat, a bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2, an AG1 flavor sampler, and you'll get to try their new sleep supplement, AGZ, for free, which has been a game changer for my nightly routine.
That's drinkag1.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, for $126 in free gifts for new subscribers. I am traveling to visit my mom in Kentucky for Christmas, and then I'm going to Montana with you, Amy. My routine is completely thrown off, but there's one thing that I am maintaining. And that's Ritual.
Ritual is an obsessively researched multivitamin. Their essential multis have the nutrients most of us don't get enough from our food, especially me, all in their clean and absorbable forms. There's no shady additives or ingredients that do more harm than good.
I'm currently taking their essentials for women 18 plus, which contains 9 key nutrients in 2 delayed release capsules designed for optimal absorption per day.
We take their Symbiotic Plus Gut Health every evening before bed, and that minty freshness actually is like a little treat before I go to sleep.
Get to go to bed fresh. Ritual's essential third-party tested for heavy metals and clean label project certified.
Their products are HSA, FSA eligible with a seamless checkout experience, so you can even save when you shop with your pre-tax dollars.
Instead of striving for perfect health, aim for supportive foundational health.
Our listeners get 25% off your first month at ritual.com/booktalk.
That's ritual.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, for 25% off your first month.